Have you ever wondered why a dollar isn't equal to a euro, or why some countries' money seems stronger than others? To understand that, we need to take a quick journey through the history of money itself. Long before coins and paper bills, people traded goods directly. A farmer with wheat might trade with a shoemaker for sandals. But barter had a big problem. What if the shoemaker didn't want wheat that day? That's called the double coincidence of wants problem. To try and solve this, societies started using things everyone valued, like salt, cattle, or even shells, as money. These had intrinsic value because they were useful or rare. Around 600 BCE, the Lydians, in modern-day Turkey, created the first metal coins. They used gold and silver stamped with a seal of authenticity. This made trade much easier and more trustworthy. In 7th century, China pioneered paper money. Instead of carrying heavy coins, merchants used government-issued notes backed by precious metals. Fast forward to modern times. Most countries use fiat money. Governments switched to fiat money because it offered flexibility, allowed economies to grow beyond the limits of gold, and gave them more control in times of crisis. So why do currencies have different values today? 1. Supply and demand. Just like products, currencies rise or fall depending on supply and demand. For example, Zimbabwe in the early 2000s was printing massive amounts of cash, which led to hyperinflation. People carried wheelbarrows of money just to buy bread. 2. Strength of the economy. Strong economies attract investors, which strengthens their currency. For example, the Swiss franc, CHF, is considered a safe haven currency because Switzerland has a strong, stable economy and low inflation. 3. Interest rates. Higher interest rates attract foreign investors, boosting a currency's value. For example, if the U.S. Federal Reserve raises interest rates, more global investors want U.S. dollars to invest in American bonds and stocks. That makes the dollar stronger. 4. Trade balance. When a country exports more than it imports, foreigners need its currency to pay for those goods. For example, Germany exports a huge amount of cars and machinery. That creates demand for euros, keeping the euro relatively strong. 5. Political stability and trust. Currencies reflect how much people trust a country's government. For example, during the Russian invasion of Ukraine in 2022, the Russian ruble lost value quickly because investors feared instability. Later, the government took steps to stabilize it, but it showed how politics impact currency value. You might be thinking, okay, currencies go up and down, but how does that actually help me? Let's break it down. 1. Travel and spending. When you understand exchange rates, you know when your money is free. For example, if the US dollar is strong and you're traveling to Europe, your hotel and meals in euros are effectively cheaper. That means smarter timing for vacations or even online shopping from abroad. 2. Protecting your savings. If you know that printing too much money leads to inflation, you'll be more careful with how you save. For example, in countries like Zimbabwe or Venezuela, savings lost value fast because governments printed too much money. People who held US dollars or gold protected their wealth. 3. Investing smarter. Currencies affect your investments. For example, if the Japanese yen is weak, US investors can buy Japanese stocks more cheaply. On the other hand, if your local currency is weak, putting some savings in a stronger currency, like USD or Swiss francs, can protect you. 4. Side hustles and work. Earning in a strong currency while spending in a weaker one can change your life. For example, a freelancer in India or Kenya who gets paid in US dollars can often afford a much higher standard of living locally. That's currency power in action. 5. Everyday decisions. Knowing how interest rates and politics affect currencies helps you plan better. For example, if interest rates in your country rise, that means borrowing money, like for a car or house, gets more expensive. But saving in the bank earns more. That can guide when you buy or when you save. So when you hear that the euro is stronger than the dollar, or that a country is printing money, it's not just economic news, it's a signal you can use. Smarter spending, safer savings, better investments, and even higher earnings. That's how understanding money and currencies improves your financial life. If you found this video useful, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.